Alright, so working on this truck. I told you I'd get some video of this side, and I've already failed at that because I've already got the gasket changed under here. And I did that last night. I was out here fiddling around ordering parts, getting parts numbers, and decided to do that. And I didn't have the camera. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to clean up around where the manifold goes a little bit, get the manifold in, get the spark plugs in, and maybe start putting the front end back together, get this thing done. So I don't think there's anything else that needs attention while the front's off. The only other thing that's going to get attention is it's going to get new wires and stuff, but the carb needs off, and gone through it leaks. So I don't know if I'll do that myself or I'll send it to somebody and have them do it. But I got you guys mounted on my light stand, so that way you guys got good light. Hopefully I won't block the camera because I don't want to block my light. And we'll get this thing going. This will probably be more of a fast, like a time-lapse video, because I'm going to have the radio playing. I don't like being out here without the radio. So, and we're going to go until it starts storming pretty good, because once it starts storming, the power tends to go out, and we got a pretty good spring storm coming. I guess you call it spring storm. But yeah, let's get at it, or I'll start, I'm going to clean up the mountain surface there and try to get some of that crap down, and we'll get her going. Alright, so we've come to a standstill. The problem that I'm having is not with the manifold or anything, but with the dipstick. Let me get that bolt out of there. This is all I have left of the original dipstick. It burned off, and the bottom portion has disappeared somewhere. But that's all I have left of the original dipstick tube. Now I have the original dipstick right here. So I measured the tube to the best of my ability. Now granted, some of it was probably missing, and I got on Summit and figured out which one would fit a 427 big block. Now this is the tall deck big block, so it's a little bit trickier to find parts for it. And I come up with a Mr. Gasket 6236 dipstick. So put the dipstick tube in and put the dipstick in, and I do not get any oil on the dipstick that come with it. So I'm like, well, I'll just take and throw the old dipstick in it. Well, the old dipstick is too long for that tube. So I'm like, well, do I cut the old dipstick down and use the new tube, or do I try to find a tube that fits, or what do I do? So I refashioned the old dipstick tube on there to figure out where my oil level was, because I don't remember if it was full, half full, empty, you know, I have no idea. So I figure it out, and it's about half. That's what I'm getting, about halfway on there. So I'm trying to decide if I need to cut that down. There is, I believe, a longer dipstick. I can't find any measurements for the Mr. Gasket dipsticks online, but there's a 6237 that I can see the stick sticks out longer than the tube. So I might order that, try it. They're 15 bucks. If it doesn't fit and I can't return it, then I'm only out 15 bucks plus whatever my other one was, which was like 11 bucks. I bought all this stuff from Summit. I can actually tell you what it was. It was $14.88. So what I did, if you guys remember, maybe, I might not have showed a video about it. I brought home a C70 tandem axle dump truck. It's got the same engine. It's been sitting for years. It was out where I bought the combines at. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go out there and get the dipstick out of it. So I went out there, here's the dipstick tube out of it. I got it seated all the way down into the oil pan to where it'll go, and my hole doesn't quite line up. If I pull it out a little bit to where it does, that little knurl that's on it just doesn't quite fit in there. You guys won't be able to see. I don't even, let's see. Yeah, you guys can't see, but it just barely hits that little thing, and I'm not cool with that. But anyways, what I did is I grabbed these two dipsticks, see if they were the same length, because they don't have the same part number on them. And if you look here, they're off just the slightest. But if you line them up, the full mark, focus camera, the full marks line up. So I dipped it down in there, and lo and behold, I have about the same on each stick, same amount of oil from the full mark. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna use this dipstick, because like I said, it doesn't seat down in there far enough. And I did it with it seated all the way in there on both sticks, and I got the same amount. So I think what I'm going to do is try to find the dipstick tube, or a new dipstick tube that's about as long as that one. It only needs to be like an inch longer. That's all the difference is, and then it would be perfect. I mean, I could probably cut an inch off of this old dipstick. That's the wrong one. Cut an inch off of this dipstick. Well, actually, be a little bit more than an inch, because when I put this tube in there, it would push the shorter stick out, the one out of the C70. So I would even have to cut a little bit off of that one, and I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to try to find a dipstick tube that's as long as this one. Just put these up to each other right here from where they seat. You can see that one's bent straight. They're probably at least an inch shorter or so. And if I put the old dipstick in there, the long one, it's like 1.5 inches from going all the way in there. As soon as it hits something, it's like 1.5 inches. Actually, I should be able to wiggle that guy in there. See if I can do it without a light. Oh yeah. Okay, so there's that dipstick in there. This is the one original to the truck. Get her in the hole there. Yahtzee. right there is where I hit something, and it won't go in any further. You can see how much of it's sticking out there. About a good inch, inch and a half. So pull that guy out. See, I got oil there to the low mark. I wonder if it's hitting, it might be hitting something else inside there. I don't know. It actually should have more oil than I think. So stick the one out of the C70 in there, and it just barely goes all the way on there. Just barely. Now see, I got it all the way to the full on that one. And if I hold them together, yeah, there was some kind of discrepancy there. But with that stick, or with that tube, regardless, it doesn't get me to where my full mark is supposed to be, or even close. Because if I take the one that come with it, which just barely sticks out of the tube at the bottom in the oil pan, I'll pull this whole thing out just because you can see I don't get any oil on there. That's just stuff that was in the tube. No oil. So, like I said, I think I'm going to get the next size bigger. AutoZone should have it, according to the interwebs, and try that. So, I'm gonna call this project good for the night. Actually, I'll put these other couple of bolts in, and we'll just hang on for that one. So, yeah, there's where we're gonna leave it for the night, and we'll see if we can get a dipstick tomorrow. Alright, so the truck looks different. It actually looks more like a truck now. I got the front end back on, and I gave it just a quick coat of black paint to kind of clean it up a little bit. The radiator's mounted in there. I guess you call that the tank, mounted in there. What I did for the dipstick, I just reworked the dipstick that come out of that C70 and put in there, because by the time I find a dipstick it'll probably work, and just screw it. So I've got that in there. Everything's pretty much buttoned up. What I'm doing now is I'm going to get plug wires, and you can see the carburetor's missing. I'm going to get the carburetor rebuilt. It was leaking and needs some tune-up, so I'm going to have somebody do that. I don't have the patience for that and the proper stuff to have it done nice. So I'll have somebody do that. I'm going to get wires while the fenders are still off. I can get the wires tucked in there nice. And another thing, probably before I put the fenders on, you guys can't see worth a hoot, but all these wires right here that go to the trailer plug, all the insulation's off of them for the most part. So I'm going to order a length of trailer wire, 7-wire stuff, already braided up pretty. I need some for this truck, and I need some for a livestock trailer that I gotta fix. But see a little sneak peek over there. I'm painting the hood and fenders and stuff. This truck will be, for the most part, one shade of green. It's a two-tone green. It's supposed to be this darker green than a lighter green up top. More than likely what'll happen is once I get the front painted, I'll go through and paint the door. I'll paint the darker green. We'll leave the lighter green the way it is. So maybe while I got the hood off and stuff, I'll go and paint up under the window there and paint the doors maybe. I don't really want to take the mirrors off. It's a lot of work to get the mirrors off and stuff, and it looks like they had some issues. Had to redo the doors for the mirrors. This one, the one thing's pulled out, support's pulled out right there, and Nick noticed it, and I noticed it too, but he was watching the video that I had out. That mirror over there is lower than this mirror, so if I had to guess, somebody hit something or hit the truck with something and knocked that mirror down and pulled that bracket out, if I had to guess. So that's what's going on now. There's the carburetor. That thing's heavy, like super heavy. Nick's like, man, that thing's got some heft to it. And I grabbed it, I'm like, holy crap, yeah, it does. So what I'm waiting on for parts that I gotta order yet is the ring gear. I have the pilot bearings on its way. I got a new throwout bearing. This is the new throwout bearing. I don't remember if I got it on video or not, but I was looking at the old one and there's numbers on there. So I typed in those numbers into the good old computer and found me a new bearing. It's a Aetna bearing. It cost me $44 for that little sucker. But new bearing. That old bearing just popped off. I didn't realize they did that. I know for the big trucks, the throwout bearing is part of the clutch cover. So I'm going to use the clutch that was in this truck. I'm not going to get a new clutch for it. The old clutch was not wore that bad. I got the plate over here actually. It was not wore that bad. Well, maybe. It does got some wear on it, I guess. It's come from Toledo Clutch. I don't know, we'll look at it. Maybe we will get a new clutch for it. It's a Borg and Beck clutch. I don't know, we'll look, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a new clutch for it. It's just another expense, right? And then we'll get this thing back together and get it out of here. Then clean up all the mess that has accumulated around it for the next big project, which I'm thinking is going to be the Paystar. It's going to come in and get gone through from front to back, back to front, left to right, up and down, all over the place. So anyways, that's all I'm doing for now. I got to go back to work tomorrow. It's been 3 weeks since I've been at work. This will be fun, going back to work. So anyways, get off here and catch you guys on the next one.